Devin, how are you today, buddy?
I'm all right, JD. How are you?
I'm doing well. I hear we're live. It's official.
We are officially live. This is exciting stuff. This is a new platform for Phenom.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we should tell them right away. With folks who are catching us, thank you very much. My name is Jonathan Dale. I'm on the marketing side of Phenom.
And I am Devin Foster, also on the marketing side of Phenom. And JD, what are we here for? What are we talking to the people about?
Yeah, we've got something pretty exciting today. We really want to spend most of the time talking about Help 1 Billion. It's a website you could actually go to right now if you want to bring up a web browser. Well, there you go. It's also on the screen. Visit HelpOneBillion.com. So what the heck is Help 1 Billion? Why did Phenom create this thing? And I think that's an awesome topic we can start exploring.
Yeah, JD, I've heard a bunch about HelpOneBillion over the past couple of weeks, and I know that it is very closely aligned with Phenom's purpose of helping a billion people find the right job. So during these times, they launched HelpOneBillion.com, and what is that all about?
Yeah, so let's just acknowledge a couple of things that's going on right now in our world and in our industry, right? In the US alone, I think the numbers now climb to over 26 million Americans in the US have filed for unemployment, right? So I don't have the exact number as of right now in real time, but we know it's over 26 million people. So COVID hit, it's very unexpected. This is not a COVID live session, but it does bring up why we as Phenom created Help 1 Billion. So there's a lot of affected individuals. Those individuals that are affected, many of them have families that are also affected, right? And this goes to impact both from a psychological perspective, but also a financial perspective. So, Devin, what couldn't we do? What part could we not play when COVID hit? How could we not help people?
Well, JD, I have absolutely zero sewing skills. So making masks was not something that I could do. Also, don't have access to any equipment for ventilators or anything along those lines. And I'm a terrible cook. So we couldn't do those three things, which we've heard a lot of great stories about, and organizations going out of their way to help with this current pandemic. But what Phenom knows and what we do really well is jobs and career sites and connecting candidates to the right opportunity or opportunities in general.
Yeah, and you also know from looking at my haircut, I can't give out haircuts even for free. So that doubles down into, okay, well, what could Phenom do, and what did we do? We created a place. In this case, it's a curated network of jobs and companies, right? And these are companies who need to hire essential and frontline workers, companies that need to ramp up. Because if we know some companies had to lay off, some companies had to furlough employees, but other companies are the exact opposite of this. They need to rapidly grow their employees base to meet the demands of what COVID is doing. And so we curated these companies and we curated these jobs as Phenom, and we put them out on Help 1 Billion to make them accessible and easily findable by people who are impacted and need work right now.
Yeah, and I think that what you just said is most important, right? A lot of organizations still have opportunities that are posted that may not be hiring until after this pandemic kind of settles down. These positions were specifically sorted through and combed through to be open right now, so that if you apply for a job, you know that they need somebody in the door yesterday, and you can go through the process and hopefully get hired sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is we launched this, what now? This is a week ago. We're a full week, I think, or more. Now this is the second week of launch. And initially we launched with 100 companies. So jobs curated across the 100 different companies. And now we have jobs curated across over 750 different companies. So individuals that are wondering, hey, what kind of companies are hiring, they need to go to the site because there's over 750 different companies. And a lot of it comes across as, jobs that are in specific industries, right? We know healthcare is a big industry. We know food delivery or delivery services in certain food industries are large industries too. But we encourage anyone who not only is personally impacted by COVID and job loss, the important part is to share it, to take action. And now that you're now aware of Help 1 Billion, that you actually share it with someone else, because it will find its home with someone that is impacted. And then they can get the benefit of finding a new job right now. Even if it's temporary, it doesn't matter. They'll be impacted.
Yeah, 100%, JD. I think that the power of Help 1 Billion is spreading it out to the masses, right? Me and you currently not looking for work, but I know that we both have come into contact and have conversations with people who are. So directing them to this, even if the right opportunity isn't there for them, it gives them an idea of an option that they can have, and they know more and more and more people who may need those positions. So it doesn't matter if you're directly affected. It's about getting the message out there to help people who can be. And Sean O'Donnell chimes in. It's 874 companies as of today. So that's wonderful news. I mean, wonderful news as much as you can, but it's great news to have that many organizations on there with job postings.
Yeah, when you're almost approaching 1,000 companies now, that's pretty amazing. And what does it actually mean? It just means that there's a larger variety of companies that are hiring, that are giving hope to people. There's a larger swath of industries that are hiring, and there's more jobs to be found. And so our role of Help 1 Billion is to make them accessible, easily found, and connecting. It's really about connecting employees or candidates or job seekers, right, that want to work right now, that some have to work. They have no choice. They have to work right now, with employers who really need and are determined and need to hire people right now. It's about making that connection and making it meaningful to people. That's what we're trying to do.
Awesome. So, JD, I know we have a couple guests lined up for today to talk about Help 1 Billion, about the intricacies. Who do we want to talk to first? Who do you think would be best? I mean, I'd love to just sit here and talk to you all day.
Yeah.
But it's always good to get a true expert on the line.
We will get an expert, but I want to know, should I wear the hat? Do I look better because of my haircut or my facial? Do I look better with the hat or without the hat? What should I go with?
I like the hat, but I don't think the haircut was bad either. You may have a calling for a gig or a side job there with haircuts, but I personally like the hat. I think you should go with it.
Okay, thank you, Vera. I'm going to stick with the hat for a little while at least. Okay, cool. Let's bring on a guest. So this sounds wonderful. Let's bring on a guest. And whatever guest we bring along, let's hear a little more about Help 1 Billion, because it is about getting the word out and getting comfortable with the site, why we did it, and sharing that with others.
Awesome. I think our first guest is John Deal.
We'll be surprised. Ooh, there he is.
And he came with a hat.
I came with a hat.
Hat is required.
You look like Ricky Bobby a little bit, dude, with that haircut.
Wait, are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
Thank you, John. I appreciate the compliment and support. I love it. Thank you, thank you, buddy. Your name is almost like my name. I have JD and you have JD, so that's good. But let's talk about Help 1 Billion. So I don't know, John, why don't you surprise us? Tell us something that we haven't covered already.
Sure. So let's talk about Phenom, right? Because Help 1 Billion really comes from the DNA of Phenom, and is really just an extension of what we're trying to do every day and what we've been trying to do every day for the last 10 years, right? Which is truly to help 1 billion people not only find a job, but find the right job. And so they land somewhere that's going to have meaning in their lives. And that's something we live every day. That's something that our founders really bring into the culture of the company. And it's now something that we have taken a step further beyond just the network of companies that we have partnered with, but also now to reach out to the general public and give them something that is going to be more meaningful for them in their job search, right? And so that is the help1billion.com website, and that is the Help 1 Billion network, which is all of the partners and companies that we are working with to try and bring meaningful content to these folks. And, Jonathan, you touched on it a little bit earlier. the big frustration when you're out there job hunting, especially in this type of environment, is that there's millions and millions of jobs that are posted, and many of them are not currently hiring, right?
Nope.
and you'll never hear back. Right?
No.
They don't say that it's closed. You apply and it goes into a black hole somewhere because, you know, that company may have furloughed some of their recruiters right now, and they just,
Yes.
you know, in the swirl of things that are going on, they didn't bother pulling their job postings down. So that was one of the starting things that we looked at as part of this is, you know, we really try to drive meaningful recommendations and meaningful jobs to people. And so the curation of this list was especially important as we started to look at how do we go out and help people with some of our technology and some of the data behind it.
So John, like where else did inspiration come from for this? So, you know, Devin talked about, hey, look, you know, we're not helping build ventilators, right? We're not sewing masks. That's not what Phenom does. But where else did inspiration come from with saying, you know what, there is something else we can do here?
Yeah, so with some of our customers, we were approached by several of our customers where they had a problem, right? And the problem was that they were furloughing a large number of employees or laying them off, and they wanted to be able to help them. And
Okay.
what could Phenom do very rapidly and very simply with our technology that would provide something meaningful for those people who are going to be displaced and get them back into a job right away?
Right.
And so we started with a couple of our customers, and as we were working with them to put these things together that were going to live either on an internal job board or on a career site or something like that, we said, well, why don't we now expand this beyond just the few customers that we're working with, or even our entire customer base, and why don't we open this up to the world, because this is something that I think is meaningful for everybody. And so that's was the genesis of the idea, and that was what kind of sprung into what is now 874 companies and
Yes.
over 500,000 jobs.
I think that's something that sorry, Devin wants to get a word in here. Devin, I promise I'll let you get a word in here. So I think what's really interesting that a lot of folks don't even appreciate, you know, there are companies that have their workforce has been decimated, right? If you look at the airline industry or you look at the hotel hospitality industry, I mean, they're really suffering. It is a direct impact to their workforce. And it's sad to see some of these companies that you fly on their planes and you stay at their hotels every week, knowing that the folks who take care of you and take so much pride of giving you awesome, amazing service are hurting. There's no other way around it, right? There's no one to fly right now, getting on flights, and there's no one staying at hotels. So of course, they're impacted. And you've seen companies that are impacted that much come together to do what you're talking about. We were inspired by them because they were trying to help their own employees or former employees in some cases find additional work. Now, of course, those same companies want to hire back that talent because they were so special, but that's kind of unheard of and uncharacteristic. That's got to be one of the first times in the masses that these companies took the stride to try to take care of workers that they cared so much about. And then you have the other extreme that we're talking about here, which is you have companies who unexpectedly need to hire a few thousand workers unexpectedly. And that's like a whole other side of this, you know. And HelpOneBillion, I think HelpOneBillion is special because for companies that are trying to help their former employees, if they share or talk about HelpOneBillion.com, their employees can go find work, right? And they're being a resource to them. And companies that are, in fact, need to hire those 800 and some we talked about, it's an outlet for job seekers who really need a job right now to interact with those brands and those companies and find work quickly. So different pendulum of the companies and how HelpOneBillion can make a difference to either their former employees or to folks who are looking to get exposure to their jobs.
Yeah, it's the ultimate in the job dating network, bringing bringing demand and supply together. And
Yes.
you hit the nail on the head, Jonathan. What a strange time we live in, where you go to a company's career site and you see them advertising jobs for another company, right? Like that
Yeah.
is right. That is something that two
It's
months ago, three
special.
months ago, right? You never was seen, but people are banding together and doing what's right, and that's ultimately what Help 1 Billion is about, is just doing what's right by people who are hurting.
Yeah, let's get Devin back involved in this. Even
No,
a
no, no.
Jets fan. We'll even let Jets fans on our live broadcast.
It's fair. No, you guys both brought up great points, right? I think we all, when news hit and as things evolved, just kind of said, now what, right? Whether we were immediately affected or afterwards not affected, and now what is Help 1 Billion, right? And it's great to see organizations doing that. Now we've talked about the number of companies that are on the site, but John Deal, what kind of jobs are there on there? I mean, is it just a select number? Is it a wide range? What type of positions are you seeing that are opening up on the job board itself?
Yeah, Devin. So the large majority of them, of course, I think Jonathan kind of touched on, are those frontline workers, right? The healthcare folks, the retail folks, grocery, things like that. That's where you'll see the most hires right now, because the demand for their services is certainly spiked. But we are cultivating a lot of different industries and serving them up. So we're not tying ourselves to any specific type of worker, whether it be frontline or highly skilled, technical. Those are the types of jobs that you'll see on the site. And the biggest thing is that these are verified hiring companies. That's really where our focus is. So it's not simply just an industry or a type of job. It's more, how can we take the broad approach, but make sure that if people come in the door, that they're going to get a seat at the table.
Awesome. Now, what's the next steps for Help 1 Billion, right? We're doing a tremendous amount right now with all these positions, with all of these organizations. How do we continue to improve upon it? What's the future state of Help 1 Billion?
Sure. So, the demand is there for certain industries right now, but we're going to bounce back from this, and people are going to need to rapidly hire to get their services back up and running. And so, Help 1 Billion will continue to curate jobs that are available, and as other industries come back online, you'll see them on the site. And we will continue to bring to bear some of the core technology that we have from Phenom, to be able to serve up better recommendations, to be able to assess people's skills and their competencies, and really drive them towards the ideal positions for them. So it's not just throwing up a bunch of stuff on a job board or making you search and put your criteria in. It's also the bread and butter, which is we learn, the platform learns, and it makes better recommendations for these people, and that's ultimately what we're trying to do here with Help 1 Billion, is to really fine tune the information that we're going to be putting in front of people, not just during the crisis, but post crisis, so that as hiring ebbs and flows, that we'll be able to make meaningful strides towards finding that right job for the billion people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me jump in. I know you talk about the future of it, but for anyone who's just catching the broadcast now and didn't catch the beginning, we're really talking about Help 1 Billion. So Phenom created a website called HelpOneBillion.com, where that website's purpose is to connect individuals who've been impacted by COVID-19 and have lost their job or need a job. They don't even have to be impacted by COVID, but we know over 26 million Americans have filed for unemployment, and most of those are COVID related. Any essential frontline worker, individual who needs a job and hasn't been impacted, can go to help1billion.com, and the jobs on that website are curated from companies who have to and want to and possess immediate openings. So the job searches there you're not going to go through thousands of jobs that those listings have been up there for months and not pulled down. These are immediate openings. These are employers who really are eager to meet new job seekers and get them hired so they can have an impact on this unpredicted growth.
I mean, look at this, JD. There are people right now who are asking to get their jobs on the job board because they need people, to be hired. So, Jonathan Deal, this is confusing with the two of you, JD and JD. How do organizations reach out and get the open positions posted onto HelpOneBillion because they need people to work?
Yeah, so they can reach out to Phenom people. We will get in touch with them. We will talk them through how to get the jobs posted to site. It's a pretty straightforward process. As Jonathan mentioned, when we started this a couple of weeks ago, we had 100. We're already up to 874. So it's not a cumbersome process. So we can get them up and running as quickly as possible. We just probably need some basic information about the jobs you want to post, and to make sure that you are indeed hiring and will fill those positions.
Right. And kind of an important thing is this is zero related to sales. This is not related to revenue, right? HelpOneBillion is about helping people. And so if you have positions and openings and you need to fill those positions, we certainly are interested in talking to you. You're not talking to a salesperson. You're talking directly to someone in product management at Phenom to set up how we're going to get your jobs put into HelpOneBillion. So just the expectation should be there. Provide us some of your basic information that we can contact you, but expect that contact is going to come from someone from product marketing. It's not going to come from a salesperson. It's not going to come from, I should have said product management. That was a misspeak, not product marketing, but product management is going to reach out to you.
Yeah, we want someone that can help them, dude, for sure.
Thanks. Thank you.
Awesome. This is all great stuff. I mean, it's not a revenue generator, right? It's just to help people, and I think that is truly spectacular. JD, any other questions for John?
No, I don't know if John wants to stick around. We've got Tom Tate in the back moving people around. We have some more guests, and we actually want to see HelpOneBillion.
Yeah.
And so we want to do some discussion about the website itself, how it's laid out, how it functions. Like, it's pretty cool technology that's going on here. So John, please, if you can stay, that'd be great. If Tom removes you, I'm sorry.
I think I gotta go, and don't be confused when the next guy comes up. It may look like I'm still here, just younger. But he's going to show you some of the great features. I can't believe we've already gone 20 minutes and not mentioned the mustache, but
it's just fitting. It's normal. It's not even.
It's normal. It's not even.
Nobody will realize it. Yeah.
So, but but thanks for having me on, and everybody that's out there, help us, help everybody, and we'll help you. So thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Awesome. So I think I think Tom is going to bring Dan Eggimann onto the stage. Dan, how are you, buddy?
There he is.
Yes.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Welcome to the show.
Wonderful.
Thanks for having me.
Dan, where are you based out of? Where's your home office?
My home office is in Philadelphia, in my 400 square foot apartment. So real roomy.
So you're rocking and rolling. That's awesome.
Rocking and rolling.
Dan, for anyone joining us right now, kind of what role do you play at Phenom, and what does HelpOneBillion mean to you?
Yeah, so my role is the candidate experience, or the career site. So I'm a product manager here. My responsibility is optimizing our career sites for candidates. And what HelpOneBillion means to me is it's a way to give people an opportunity where they may not know where to go. There are so many company-specific career sites out there, but how can people find jobs in one centralized place from places that are actually hiring? So it's all about making the lives easier for those people that are, having difficulty in this tough time.
Awesome. So Devin, do you want to ask Dan any questions before he starts showing HelpOneBillion?
I do have one question, Dan, and I think that this is, it may be rhetorical. I don't know. I may answer my own question throughout this. But we've mentioned a couple times that HelpOneBillion.com is not for profit. And one of the ways and reasons we're doing that is so that companies aren't competing and promoting jobs or trying to get theirs at the top of the list, because truly what we want to have is people find the right fit for the open position, correct? Right? It shouldn't be about how much you pay to get to the top of the list. It should be about finding the right people and helping them get to work. So you may do this throughout the demonstration, but how does that work? How do candidates get served up the correct positions and find the right openings for them?
Yeah, so one of the main value props or features that we were able to give to candidates at Phenom is the ability to deliver tailored jobs based on a candidate's interest. So we have experience working with Fortune 500 organizations with thousands of jobs. So what we did is we took that same technology and expanded it even more for hundreds of thousands of jobs across hundreds of organizations. So Phenom's really good at delivering that right job to the right person. And so we use that technology and scaled it up to be able to deliver, again, the right job to the right person at the right organization.
Awesome. Dan, go ahead, and if you want to try out the screen sharing here, go ahead. If not, let me know, and I can bring up Help 1 Billion. It's up to you. Put you on the spot here, live on the spot.
Let's see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Joining us? Yeah. For folks just joining us, this is a live look at HelpOneBillion.com, and Help 1 Billion was created to address folks impacted by COVID-19, but it's for anyone right now looking for a job who needs work and wants to be paired and matched and find employers who right now are hiring. Right now, these are openings that they need to fill, that they want candidates in. The site says there's over 100 global organizations. We now know that was at the time of launch, but there's over 800 organizations now part of Help 1 Billion. We're very proud of that. So Dan, what are we looking at?
Yeah, so this is the Help 1 Billion homepage. You'll see the first thing that candidates are going to see is the search bar. And this is going to be an intelligent search where I can go in and I can start searching any job that I'm interested in, and it'll give me recommendations for specific jobs that I'm looking for, locations, and it'll also show some of my recent searches. So I can easily go in and search for that job.
So Dan, is it finding those based upon a location already that it's detecting?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to take my IP geolocation, and so understand where I'm coming from and give me jobs based on where I'm located. We don't want to be showing people jobs on the other end of the country or even on the other end of the world. So we're showing you jobs that are relevant to you.
Yeah. Last I checked, most states are still under lockdown, although that's starting to ease up right now. But you certainly don't want a job that you're going out of state or even out of city. That would be irrelevant at this point in time. And you're saying Help 1 Billion, make sure that location is picked up. It's able to be leveraged to keep that job search kind of narrowed down to what you as a candidate are most relevant in seeing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
And then you'll see that the second thing that we're going to show to candidates is get tailored job recommendations based on your interests. So that search bar, great for people that know what they're looking for. But what about the people that aren't quite sure? They're just more interested in a role. So what we allow you to do is to tell us a little bit about yourself, your interests, your skills, where you're looking to work. And we're going to start delivering personalized job recommendations for you based on that information that you put in.
Yeah, I'd like to see this. Are you willing to walk through this with us? So
absolutely.
Okay, so let me add a little bit. So what you're saying is Help 1 Billion is actually, instead of just making assumptions, so we pick up where your location is and we make an assumption that it's accurate and we provide jobs based upon that. But in this case, there's a widget here that's interacting with the person, with the job seeker, the candidate, and it's walking them through some basic questions. What industries are you interested in? This is excellent. So if I was already in a retail shop, maybe I do that, or healthcare or fast food. That's That's awesome, right? So instead of making additional assumptions, how can we help 1 billion get to know someone to provide the most relevant job to them if we don't ask them? Sounds obvious, but
exactly. Exactly. We're trying to get at what are they interested in doing, and this is going to allow us to deliver that job recommendation without actually directly asking them what specific job you're looking for.
And as you go to the next question, Ashley's asking a question here: can location be changed? Yes, right. Location can absolutely be changed.
We can jump forward here a couple steps. What's your preferred location? Do I want to work in Philadelphia? Maybe I have another location. I have a summer house, or there's other places that I want to work. I can add multiple.
Some people are actually stuck at a specific city or location that might not be their normal place, but for the next 3 months, that's where they're going to be. That's excellent. And Ashley, thank you very much for the question. We appreciate the interaction here. Thank you.
And we can jump back to the ones that we missed. You can put in your job title, or if you don't have a job title, you can skip it.
Yeah, there's also a box there that said just starting your career, it looks like. There's a lot of students, if I'm not mistaken, who are graduating right now, right? And students don't necessarily have a long history work experience. Some do, but some don't. But if you're just starting your career, this is a great way of not feeling the pressure or the stress of saying, oh my gosh, right? What was my last role? What was my last title? Why is it relevant to this? Just check the box, just getting started, right? So that's a really nice, unintimidating way to help people find relevant roles for them.
And also, one part that we jumped over a little bit, Dan, was right in the beginning was either upload a resume or answer questions, right? I know a lot of people are very hesitant to provide information in today's day and age, right? They don't want to be spammed. They don't want to get all sorts of crazy emails. So if a candidate is simply looking for a job and they don't want to input their email address or something along those lines, they don't have to. They can just answer these quick questions. They don't have to upload their entire work history. Which I think is super powerful, especially for frontline workers. I mean, there may be some individuals right now who don't have a CV or a resume to upload, and they simply just want to look for work. So this is all super powerful. And I apologize for backtracking, but I did want to point that out.
Yeah. Okay, let's rock and roll with this, Dan. What happens after we get to know someone, they volunteer some of this basic information, right? Again, this information is so they can tell us more about what they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. So they can talk about what they're good at, what they like doing. They can be a cashier. They can, enter any of a wide variety of skills that they have, as well as, like we talked about, where they like to work. And then, based on all that information that we put in, we can see our tailored job recommendations.
That's awesome. So
we can see a couple different jobs based on the industries that I said I was interested in working, the location that I was interested in working in, as well as some of my skills.
That's excellent.
So I can look through these. Some of them look interesting. And another really great feature as part of Help 1 Billion is if I think that these jobs are interesting, maybe I'm not interested in applying for them now, or I want to look at others, I can save them and essentially add them to something like a job cart. So similar to like how in e-commerce, where you add products to a cart and check out later, I can save these jobs and come back to them afterwards. And after I've looked at other positions, see what's right for me.
That's great. Dan, what else do you think from a Help 1 Billion website? You think folks who are catching us here on the live stream, we're talking about Help 1 Billion. What do you think? What else do you think they should know?
Yeah, another great thing that we're doing as part of this is we're also building a network of people that are interested and available for work, and we're calling it the Help 1 Billion network. So we have a ton of jobs, but maybe we don't have the right job for that specific person for whatever reason. Can't find it for them. They're very specialized talent, or they're in a location where we don't have a lot of jobs. You can candidates can join this HelpOneBillion network. So I can upload my resume, give you my name, what I'm interested in, where I want to work, and by putting this information in, it'll be available to our HelpOneBillion partner companies, where they'll be able to reach out to them, connect with them, and see if they're a good fit for one of their roles. Essentially, allowing the company to search for them, whereas traditionally the candidate searches for the right company and the right role.
That's awesome. So this is a way to join a talent community, and for you to be easily contacted or notified in the event, there's a good match somewhere. Someone finds a good match that they think you're the perfect candidate. I love that. Could you do me a favor? Could you go back to the HelpOneBillion homepage? I have a question, but I want to point out something first before I even go to the question. So can you go down towards the bottom? There were 3 companies in particular that I want to call out. And I want to call out and just literally give a shout out to Land O'Lakes, General Motors, and Hershey's. Each of these companies, when we were creating and about to launch HelpOneBillion, were willing to support it. And I just want to give a special thanks to them. We appreciate your support. Thank you for working with us. Thank you for being part of the press release in the initial launch of HelpOneBillion. And these are 3 amazing employers who, once again, each of them have work, are in need of hiring. And you can find more information on the HelpOneBillion homepage. You scroll down and access any of their career sites with a link. So just thank you to those companies. Really appreciate the full support that you've given HelpOneBillion. Thank you. And now, Dan, the question I had is, someone else is asking too. Is that a conversational bot? Do we have a bot at HelpOneBillion? And what does the bot do?
The bot does a variety of different things, but the main thing that it's set up for is to help people find jobs. So a lot of people enjoy sort of the conversational nature of the chatbot. So they would actually be able to go through, and it's going to ask me some questions. And again, it's going to deliver more of a tailored job recommendation. So here it's actually going to perform a cultural fit or a cultural assessment, where it's going to ask me some questions. Here we're asking about my level of imagination. So I can say, how strongly do I agree that I have a lively imagination? I got a pretty good imagination, so we'll mark that as 4. So here it's focused more on where are you a good culture fit, and then based on AI in the back end, we're finding not only just the right jobs for you, but the right companies based on your cultural assessment.
Yeah. So I think what's something important to point out, right? Everything on HelpOneBillion is about helping a job seeker find a role, find a position, find that opening, that job that they desperately need. Folks really want to work right now, and they don't want to go through a million steps that aren't relevant to them in order to find that employer and to get work. However, as the economy globally, as the global economy recovers and starts to recover, things such as culture fit, who am I working for? What values do they have? Do those values align with my values, right? These types of topics are really important, right? And that's where you'll continue to see HelpOneBillion evolve. As we're in recovery, right? HelpOneBillion will continue to help individuals looking for jobs as it grows in the future. And we can do more and more matching of job seekers with employers, the more individuals know what they're looking for, right? As job seekers, We challenges employers don't know what we're looking for, and we don't know if there's a match, and candidates don't know if there's a match. That's a big deal. It's not talked about often, but it's a really big deal. And at Phenom, we recognize this. And a lot of the technology you see at HelpOneBillion is the same exact technology we use for our corporate customers when we're helping them match candidates on their own career site. But in this case, we're taking it direct to the job seeker, right? And we're providing that in order for them to be able to find employers more quickly based upon what they're looking for, based upon how they see themselves fitting in, based upon the things they value, based upon the cultures they want to join. And that's what we're doing here. And that's how HelpOneBillion will continue to evolve in this.
Awesome. Hey, Dan, a question came through around referrals, right? So what happens if an individual doesn't find the job that they're particularly looking for, but they say, hey, I know my cousin Sue, she would be a perfect fit for this role. Is there a way to send that along without just copy pasting the URL?
Absolutely. So there's a couple different mediums or channels that we have. You can share it on any of your social networks, or you can also share it through email. So this email will allow me to email it to a friend. The LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter will allow me to sort of post it on my social network. So I can do that for any of these.
Yeah, I think it's also, real quick, I think it's also interesting to point out, you went from a job search to the job description page. And when you did that, I noticed right now the chatbot popped up and it didn't ask you the culture fit question. It asked you if you're interested in this specific job. So it in context, are you saying it in context knows that now you're looking at a specific job and now wants to talk about that job versus talk about, some job finding question?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to know that I'm on this job, and then it's going to start asking me like pre-screening questions to see if I'm a good fit for this role. So we don't want people wasting their time just applying to every job or applying to jobs that they're not qualified for. So we allow you to, it's gonna ask you some like screening questions to see if you have the basic requirements. And if it does, if you do, it'll encourage you to go forward. If you don't, maybe it'll suggest other roles that could be a better fit for you.
Awesome. I think we can wrap up the screen sharing here. This was pretty awesome, Dan. I just want to recap here and then ask you for parting words. But the recap is HelpOneBillion is designed to quickly match job seekers with those jobs and do it on a personalized level by asking questions, by allowing individuals to volunteer information. And if they don't want to, they skip those steps, correct?
Exactly.
They just skip those steps, which is great. So everyone has their own comfort level. If I don't want to tell you where I want to work and I want to manually search for that, so be it, right? You support that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you very much. I think there's a lot of technology that we're taking direct to consumer here that we would normally be, Phenom is a business to business company, right? We help some of the largest organizations in the world find and then retain talent, right? That's the candidate experience that you guys have talked about. It's the employee experience and gig work and learning and development and all that stuff. But that's not what HelpOneBillion is, right? HelpOneBillion is about, I've been impacted. I now face job loss. Maybe it's my wife, maybe it's a cousin of mine, maybe it's a friend or next door neighbor. I see what they're going through and they need to be matched with an employer who's hiring, not wasting their time, but hiring. And so they go to HelpOneBillion.com and that's what they get, a no nonsense, very personalized and friendly website that's curated from companies, over 800 now, that are hiring right now today, right?
Exactly.
And their jobs are easy to find because it's being narrowed down. And your HelpOneBillion is helping me find the ones that are most relevant to what I may be interested in based upon location, work experience, preferences, industry, whole nine yards. Yeah?
Exactly.
All right. So I'll give you the parting word here, Dan. What
Yeah.
else do you want to tell us?
I would just echo what you're saying. We're doing this to help people. There are no sponsored jobs. Companies aren't paying to be on this. We're doing this to help people because it's the right thing to do in this time of need. So, we really appreciate you getting any word out, sharing these jobs, sharing the site, and continue to drive foot traffic and to continue helping people into those right roles that may need help.
Awesome, Dan. Thanks so much for joining us. To summarize what Dan said, he said, please share. Please help someone else's life get better today that's been impacted, that's not feeling very well, that's, that wants to feel valued by joining an employer who wants to hire people today and has, by the way, has the means to do it and the work to do it, because not every employer right now is in that situation.
Exactly.
And it's not their fault. There's no one's fault here. Some employers are not in a position to hire, unfortunately. We are all fortunate. We have a role right now that we're playing, but there's many folks around the world that have not. And Help 1 Billion is not just for the US. There's global jobs on Help 1 Billion as well. So this is a global problem, and Help 1 Billion is helping at a global level. Dan, thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, Dan.
All right, Devin, you and I started it, and you and I are going to end this. What else do we need to talk about or share about Help 1 Billion?
I think we have to close it out strong, JD, and I think we have to talk about some success stories. Are there any success stories that you have heard about Help 1 Billion right off the bat?
Devin, there's a lot of success stories around Help 1 Billion. I think the bottom line is you hear success stories from companies, and I don't want to mention their names, but in the airline, hospitality, food industry, who've taken Help 1 Billion and they've created essentially what they call as like alumni network pages. These are pages where they take the Help 1 Billion network of curated jobs, they brand it. They brand it that it's from their own company. So it's hosted on their own company's website. And they're helping their furloughed and laid off employees. They're helping them by giving them direct means access to other jobs. That is unheard of. That is an absolute success story. And it's not just a Phenom success story. This is a success story for a lot of the companies who are providing that functionality to it. And then we know by looking at our analytics and statistics, we launched Help 1 Billion with 100 companies in curation. And now we have over 800 companies in curation. That's another success story. That means there's more jobs, there's more companies in there, there's more availability to job seekers. And we know already since launch, there's been thousands of job seekers and thousands of apply clicks, as we talk about it in the business, apply clicks coming from Help 1 Billion going to those employers. Those are three different aspects of success, and all Phenom couldn't be more proud of, and proud of the companies that are helping us make that happen as well.
It's and a fourth that I wanted to throw in was maybe companies don't have the ability to host it right on their career site with branding, but they are sharing it. And I think to really echo what Dan was saying is sharing this is truly going to make it powerful to the masses.
Yeah.
The more people that we can get it in front of, the more successful those organizations that are hiring can hire, and those people who need jobs can get jobs. We mentioned before, reach out to Phenom if you'd like jobs posted on the site. Again, we're getting a ton of traffic, and we want to help those in need looking for work, and also those who are trying to find great candidates to put to work, quite frankly.
Yeah, and I want to thank the companies already that have shared this. I mentioned General Motors earlier. I mentioned Land O'Lakes. I mentioned Hershey's, all taking part of the initial launch of this just by putting their support. Just by supporting it. They're not doing anything else, but they're trying to get the word out. And earlier this week, I saw GM. I think it was on their Facebook feed, could have been on their LinkedIn feed, but it was one of them give a shout out to Help 1 Billion and try to spread the word. I think that is one of the most important things people can do right now. And that's what we're asking. If you're joining us, we're asking exactly that. Please just share out, get the word out that help1billion.com is there to help people. It's the right thing to do. Millions of people have been impacted by this. This is hope. This is giving people who need a job right now hope and inspiration that they can do it, and that they're not stuck in their current situation. And one day we're not going to be in this situation, and Help 1 Billion will continue to evolve to provide whatever the help needed. But right now we need to keep getting the word out. We need to keep championing it so that people who are affected get word of this and get wind of it. So please share it.
Yeah, JD, one way that I've been sharing it is I've been tweeting at Some Good News and at John Krasinski to try and get this on his web series, right? And he's reaching, hundreds of thousands of people. So any way that you share it, whether you're friends with somebody famous or John Krasinski or whatever, or you're just sharing it to someone in need, all of that matters. So I think that this is truly something special, Help 1 Billion. I'm excited to be a part of it. I like hearing the success stories and seeing, good people find good work in the time of need. So this is awesome, JD. Thank you so much.
Yeah, here's the problem. John might not pick it up because his show is called Some Good News, and Help 1 Billion is Some Great News. Yeah, so it surpasses the bar of what his show has. I like the show. It's great. People should check it out. But this is great news. Help 1 Billion is great news. And I just want to say, as we round this up and close this out, from everyone at Phenom, we want to thank you. Stay safe and have an absolute phenomenal day.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.